Natural vision improvement. The body is designed to heal itself, and the eyes are no exception. 3 out of 4 Americans have some type of vision issue. Something is clearly wrong here. About 100 years ago, it was about 6% of people. You see, glasses are treating a symptom, and when you remove anything that is causing the issue, you free up various ways to improve your own vision. What causes blurry vision in the first place? Well, number one is, funny enough, glasses and contacts. This is because it does the work for your eyes. It causes a strain that forces them in an abnormal position. Your eyes will get weaker and weaker over the years, which is why anyone who has a prescription usually understands that it gets stronger over time. Now, of course, these devices have their place because we live in a world where we need to see. But if we're doing natural vision improvement, we want to take them off when we can, as much as we can, to let our eye do its thing. Number two is straining. When we strain to see things, that's when we cause vision issues because all of our senses are designed to be used by relaxation. Like, you don't have to try hard to hear somebody or to taste something. So when we actually put an effort to see, that's when we put stress on the eyes, and over time, that's how our eyes get worse. Even if you don't see perfectly clear, that's okay. Just don't panic over that. Just relax and allow your eyes to see what they can. Number three is staring. Staring is one of the worst vision habits. We have something in our eyes called saccadic movements. These are tiny micro movements or adjustments your eyes make 60 to 100 times per minute. Our eyes need to be fluid and always moving. You can help this habit by moving your eyes as much as you can, releasing the muscles around them, the neck, the shoulders. Also remembering to breathe. Number four is overworking your eyes. Like, in today's world, we kind of just power through. We don't listen to our bodies, including our eyes. And when it's letting you know it needs to rest, make sure that you rest them. Because when we just power through, we're putting a lot of stress on our eyes. And if we keep on doing this, our vision is just going to get worse. We have the ability to turn on lights 24/7. We look at computer screens all day. Like, our eyes have a lot of work that they're processing. And just make sure that you fit in periods of rest. Number five here is mind blindness. What we don't realize, their eyes are photoreceptors. They basically pick up light that sends signals to the brain in the visual cortex. So the brain is really the one that's doing the seeing here. And what we have to understand is that it's all connected in parts of the brain. So visualization, memory, cognition, all these things are interconnected. So if we're not able to visualize or have good memory or all these things, it's going to impact our vision. Interestingly enough, enhancing our inner vision and clarity can actually lead to better eyesight. Now let's actually get into how to improve vision. The number one method is the Bates method. This has actually been around for over 100 years. Been started by Dr. William H. Bates. He used to be a conventional ophthalmologist, but he simply asked the question one day, why are my patients not actually getting better? He realized that glasses and surgery were just treating symptoms instead of treating the underlying cause. This is where he employed the Bates method, which is kind of like physical therapy for the eyes. It helps the eyes relearn how to see naturally. And this is primarily done through relaxation. He has seen all types of conditions get completely reversed in his own patients. He's done his own research in the past. Unfortunately, he's been heavily censored by the ophthalmology community. All in all, he's treated countless patients through certain methods, habits, and practices for the eyes. We're going to go over some of them. We have to keep in mind, this is not about eye exercises. That's a misconception. That can be defined as doing like these repetitive movements to strengthen the eyes. And that has its place, but the eyes are really overworked and kind of need to be more functional and relaxed, which is a key distinction. Now, when it comes to the practices, Dr. Bates understood that vision is 90% mental, 10% physical. So doing the practices alone, it's great, but we have to keep in mind that's really about the mental side, being engaged in the practice, having the proper mindset. The first practice here is called palming. Now, this is actually an ancient practice. This has been done for thousands of years by ancient yogis. What it is essentially rubbing the hands together, creating friction, and putting them over the eyes. Now, this creates lots of relaxation and darkness, but here's the thing. People and skeptics who don't actually practice this don't understand it's not the exact same thing as being in the dark. There is a key distinction, there is a key different feeling that when this happens, the energy of the palms There's a chakra in the hands called the Lao Gong. Until you actually experience doing this for at least 5 minutes, 6 minutes, multiple times a day, and feeling the eye strain just release, completely relinquish. Like if you have a lot of eye strain that you just don't know how to release, you may not even know it's there. Until you experience this, we can't truly know. Number 2 is swinging. Now this kind of retrains the eyes to stay in motion, so we don't stare and squint and all these things. There's various methods of this as well. Basically involves standing about shoulder width apart and swinging your full body back and forth. Again, all these are done for at least 5 minutes, 6 minutes, training the eyes to see oppositional movement, opening up the peripheral vision. The next one is called sunning, which is basically the same thing as swinging, but you're closing your eyes and doing this while you're looking at the sun. Now this is fine because your eyes are closed. You want to make sure that it's either early in the day or late in the evening so the sun's not too bright. And what this does essentially is strengthen the iris muscles. While you're looking at the sun, it's super bright, and while you're looking away, it's dim. It's kind of going back and forth, almost massaging the eyes. And if you have photosensitivity, this really helps with that. It's becoming more sensitive and more receptive to light. Those are some of the practices. There's one thing I should really mention, and that is distance looking. In today's world, we are constantly looking up close. Looking in the distance for a few seconds is great, but we really need to understand that our eyes used to be looking in distance more often than up close, because back in hunter-gatherer days, like nothing was really up close, pretty much. Everything was far off in distance. Everything we did, our eyes were relaxed. This is important because when we look off in the distance, our eye muscles shorten and actually relax, while when you look up close, our eye actually lengthens and is a little more strenuous on the eye, especially done in excess. We need both of them, of course, but I would say like looking in a distance for at least 10 minutes a day. Maybe you can break it up a little bit, but if you actually do this for like 8 to 10 minutes at one sitting, you're just going to understand that your eyes actually adjust and helps release those eyes and put them in more proper position. Again, this is more an experimental practice. You have to experience this to actually feel it. Like it's all great in theory, you can see what you want about it, but until you experience it, you can't really know. I mean, our eyes do not get in a poor state of health instantly. Usually it happens over time. And if you want to improve your eyes, you actually have to put in the work and properly reverse them and actually make this a lifestyle. Like doing the base method up front is going to put in a lot of work, but over time, like you don't need to do all the practices and all the habits, because all the habits are going to become unconscious. And this becomes part of your life, and natural vision is just part of your own reality. Getting into the habits here, the number one is centralization. This is the understanding that the center part of your vision is supposed to be most clear. This is due to something called the fovea centralis in the back of the eye. This is where all the cone cells are at, and this is designed for clarity and acute vision. The peripheral vision is not designed to see clearly. The central vision is the most clear. Like if you look at a letter up front, it's going to be most clear in the central vision. You're probably not going to be able to see it in your outside peripheral vision. So the point of this is not to strain to see everything clearly. The point of this is to understand that our central vision is the most clear and focus on that. So when you do that, the peripheral vision will automatically get more clear. Understanding won't be as clear as central vision. Number two here is shifting. This is about training the eyes to move properly. So shifting it from one point to another, noticing oppositional movement, not focusing on one thing for too long. And again, all these things are going to become unconscious over time. We have trained our eyes to see poorly through the modern world over time, so we have to understand that we can reverse this as well. Blinking is a huge part of this, understanding that not blinking leads to straining. So just be mindful of our blink rate. Number three is dynamic relaxation. So whatever you're doing, just make sure that you're kind of keeping fluid. You're keeping it relaxed, keeping habits on the mind, staying focused, closing your eyes when you need to, resting your eyes when you need to, just listening to your body. And over time, you can create a new set point of healthy vision. Next, we're going to get into nutrition. Nutrition is always important, and there are certain targeted things that are critical for vision and proper working of the eyes. Some of them are lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, these are carotenoids that are very important antioxidants, as well as they help filter the light in the macula for the eye. Also responsible for good night vision, helps for the function of the retina and the brain as well. The macula is the back part of the eye that reflects light. Now, these foods can be found in eggs, primarily, and cruciferous vegetables like kale and collards. Next is astaxanthin, which is a powerful antioxidant that's 20 times more powerful than beta carotene. This is very powerful and it helps reduce inflammation, promotes detoxification, and prevents chronic degeneration. This can be found in algae and dark pigment seafood like lobster and krill, as well as salmon. Now, I've been doing the Bates method for a while, and I used to have -4 myopia, and now I have well over -2. So my eyes have been definitely improving. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm making progress. And the most important thing about all this is just to experience, because we can hear what we want, we can say what we want. Until we actually experience something, we don't actually know it. If you've been struggling, I would just recommend that you give it a shot. And there's so many resources on this, so many books. There's a lot of learning that's been done with the Bates method. I actually did an interview with one of the teachers. It was one of the first episodes. Nathan Oxenfeld. He's definitely one of the best in the entire field. And you can check that episode out if you want to learn more.